Today in the Audio Hotline Studio, I'm going to be reviewing the RØDE NT1-A condenser microphone. Now, just right out of the gate, I just want to say I have used this microphone a ton. There for a while, I used the RØDE NT1 and the NT1-A, and they were just my go-to condenser microphones. So maybe I already gave away my opinion on this microphone within the first minute of this review, but I just wanted to say that I've used this a lot and I love it. But I'll tell you my personal experiences with this microphone here in a little bit, and I'll show you a couple examples of songs that I use this microphone in. Welcome all audio nerds to the Audio Hotline. And today, as I said before, we have the RØDE NT1-A in the studio. And before I say anything else, before I forget, today I am using the Zoom H6 to record this microphone, and it is set at only 40%. So the RØDE NT1-A comes in at $229, which I understand seems like a lot for a microphone, but this does come with a lot of accessories. Let me go ahead and tell you what comes in the box when you purchase the RØDE NT1-A. The RØDE NT1-A comes with the SM6 shock mount with a detachable pop filter. This package also comes with a 20-foot XLR cable, as well as the microphone itself, the RØDE NT1-A. Now, one thing that wasn't mentioned, and maybe they don't include it anymore, but mine actually did come with a little mic bag, like a little protective thing, so maybe it still comes with that, but on RØDE's website it didn't say it did. Since I have used this a lot, the detachable pop filter got ruined because everyone spit and everything going on it. It got smelly, if I'm going to be real with you. It got awful. That just happens over time, especially with like material pop filters. That's why I like these metal ones. You can just run it under the sink, spray some rubbing alcohol on it, and you're good to go. But when it came to the build of that pop filter, it was really good. It did last me a very long time. So no complaints that I eventually had to just throw it to the side. But I will say that the shock mount is built incredibly well. It's fantastic. Yeah, the elastics can pop off occasionally, but they're really easy to put back on. They've never broken on me or anything. They're nice. I did use that XLR cable pretty much exclusively with this microphone, and I used it a ton. I took it on the road with me. It was with me a lot. It eventually did go out, but I don't think it was any fault of its own. I was just really rough on it. The microphone itself does feel light, but it's built very well. I've never had an issue with it, although I do take really good care of my microphones. The accessories surrounding the microphones, I don't take very good care of that stuff, but the microphones, I definitely take care of. But this one has lasted me years and years, and I've never had an issue with it. Well, now that we've gone through some of the basics of this microphone, I'm going to let all you nerdy nerds nerd out with some specs. I'm talking about you, Jeff. You in particular, you freaking nerd. Love you, Jeff. The RØDE NT1-A is a pressure gradient condenser microphone with a 1-inch capsule. This is a side address microphone with a cardioid polar pattern. It has a frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, an output impedance of 100 ohms, and a max SPL of 137 decibels. This has a sensitivity of negative 31.9 decibels and an equivalent noise level of 5 dBA. This can either take 24 volts or 48 volts of phantom power. And this is in fact an XLR microphone. There are a couple other nerdy specs on the screen that you can check out for yourself if you feel the need to. Now, when it comes to the frequency response graph of this microphone, you can tell that they were very deliberately trying to make this sound as good as possible for vocals without having to do much post-processing. There's a bit of a cut in the low end to get rid of some rumble. There's a bit of a boost right around where most vocals have a little bit more of their body, their bass, to accent that. There's a minor dip where you can get some boxiness. The mids are kind of level-ish, and then it starts to boost in that high end pretty specifically. There are a couple things in the specs that I do want to point out real quick. The first one being that this has a noise level of 5 dBA. That's like incredible. That's a super low noise level, and that's one of the reasons I absolutely love this microphone. I do have a video where I explain dBA. I can put it down in the description with the time code that I talk about it if you want to learn more about dB versus dBA. But very basically, dBA is the way that humans perceive sound, and dB is like a literal actual measurement. The other thing I'll say about this microphone is that it absolutely isn't a flat microphone. In fact, the Rode NT1 is much more flat throughout its frequency response. The NT1 does still have a boosted high end, but this one is very particular in where it boosts stuff. Like, this is meant to be a vocal microphone for sure, based off of where it's boosting all the frequencies. So if you're a person that's just like, flat microphone or bust, bro, this isn't for you, man. It's not. I'd say the NT1 is more for the people that prefer flat microphones that they can mold themselves. But that's the thing though, when a microphone company starts to boost certain frequencies, you tend to get people that don't like the microphones because it's not going to sound perfect on everyone's voice. But in my experience, I've used it on a lot of different voices, and it's actually pulled through quite often. Well, now that we've gone through some of the basics of this microphone, and we've gotten real nerdy, let's go ahead and start testing it out. If you're just so excited that you picked up your new NT1-A that you just want to get up real close to it, give it some lovin's, here's how it's going to sound. If you decide before giving it some lovin's that you need a little protection between the two of you, here's how it's going to sound. Warning. This next part is going to be pretty loud. It's a plosive test. I'm not going to push my plosives out as hard as I usually do because I don't want to spit on the capsule or anything. So, moderately plosive-y. More plosive-y than anyone should be, though. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peanuts. 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 Peanut-sizz. Now let's see how the background noise rejection is with a super clicky keyboard. Now if you're going to be typing on a clicky-clacky keyboard right behind this microphone, it's not highly recommended because this is a condenser microphone. It's going to pick up a lot of stuff. You probably should have went with a dynamic mic. But here's how it sounds. Now let's continue to test the polar pattern with some white noise. Hello. Here's how the microphone sounds about 3 feet away. Now, if you're going to use this microphone for a podcast, here's how it would sound with some post-processing on it. Probably a little bit of EQ, some compression, maybe limiting. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. I probably will not need a noise remover since this has a noise floor of 5 dBA. But if I do use it, I'll let you know. Sometimes it can still bring that noise floor up. That compressor can do you dirty sometimes, man. I'll tell you what. But then maybe a de-esser also. But I'll label everything so you know. Now, instead of me singing into this microphone, you probably don't want that. I'll show you some other singers that I actually did record with this microphone, and you can see how it fits in a mix and everything. See if you like it.
It's the forest of light, the lights of the forest, explorers delight. So let's go explore this. Fire spins at night, fireflies are right, following the buzz from the lights. But if it's not your sin,
Well, now that we've gone through the basics, the specs, and we tested this microphone out, let's go ahead and get to my review, my opinion of the Rode NT1-A. First, let me just tell you a little bit about my personal experience with this microphone. This microphone is very interesting to me at the price point that it's at. You know, I've had some really interesting experiences with this microphone, and a lot of them have made me just fall in love with it. I want a vocal performance to sound really good, and I want the vocalist to be inspired by how good it sounds. Now, when I say I want to get it right at the source, I'm not saying that I need a microphone that sounds like it's already EQ'd. Usually, I'll put a little EQ on the person's voice and send it back to their headphones so they can, you know, feel like it's a little more polished sounding. There's just something really nice about this microphone on certain people's voices. It just sounds incredible. I feel like a lot of singers and voiceover people and podcasters would be extremely happy with this microphone just because it sounds good right out the gate. Disclaimer though, it's not going to sound amazing on everyone's voice. It's not. But I will say that I've used it on a lot of different people's voices, and I've been amazed at the results. And at this price point, and the fact that it comes with a beefy shock mount and everything, this is hard to beat. With that being said, though, I understand that it's not for everyone. This isn't exactly what everyone wants, but this does have just an amazing sound to it. The 5 dBA noise level is insane. I love that. And overall, I'm just very happy with the accessories and everything that came with it. Maybe I'm a little biased because I've had some really great times in the studio with this microphone, just fun experiences with people, and just seeing this up on the stand, maybe I, have a little bit more love than some people do. Now, do I think it's better than the Rode NT1? I wouldn't say that. I just feel like it's different. Being further into my audio career, I do reach for flat microphones a little more often because I do, prefer making my own decisions with EQ, but this still can be EQ'd in post, obviously. But when there's a person's voice that just doesn't sound right on anything else and I pull this out, it usually works. But this microphone has came through for me more times than I can count, and this microphone at $229 with the accessories that it comes with, I think is an incredible deal. So the grade that I give the Rode NT1-A is an NT1-A. You see what I did there? Yep. Thank you all for watching this review of the Rode NT1-A. I hope it helped you out, helped you decide whether this microphone is right for you, but most of all, hope you had fun. Stay tuned for a lot more reviews and other videos. There is a lot more coming out, and a big thank you to all of my subscribers. You are the best people on the face of the planet, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. And once again, thank you for watching the Audio Hotline. I'll see you audio nerds next time.